Welcome back to Grow and Preserve. This is Carter, and I'm so glad you're here today. I am participating in Jessica from Three Rivers Homestead's Every Bit Counts Challenge. So today's Every Bit Counts is going to be all about seed saving. I heard on Patera's channel the other day that she is already starting to hear of seed shortages for next year. So that seems a little crazy to me, but she said she's had several texts from her suppliers that seeds are going to be short. So I thought, well, everything is ripe and ready. Let's get some things saved. So I've already been doing some seed saving this week in particular, but I have several others to do today. So I thought I'd bring you along. We're going to do some fun things. This is a very, very overripe Boston pickling cucumber. And this is what you want a cucumber to look like when you're going to save the seeds. You want it to be long past when you would want to eat it. The seeds get big, they get mature, they're ready to go. I'm going to possibly do, depending on what these look like on the inside, these are Queen of Melanalco tomatillos. I was not super impressed with them this year, but the seeds were hard to find. So I think I'm going to save some just in case I decide to try them again next year. I'm also going to do my favorite cherry tomatoes. Now these are all going to be heirloom tomatoes. This is the black cherry. It's divine. You could give me that with my eyes closed, tell me it was a grape, and I'd believe you. It's fantastic. So I'm going to do those. This is Sunrise Bumblebee, also an heirloom from Baker Creek. They are good. They're not honestly as good as the black cherry, but I'm going to save some of those anyway, just in case I want to do them next year. And then these are excellent, also Baker Creek. These are the black strawberry cherries, and they are super good. They're a little bit bigger. I really like the size. I'm going to try dehydrating some tomorrow as well because I think the size is so fantastic. So we're going to do those. And then I have, this is kind of pathetic, the very tail end of my dill. So I have a little bit of dill seed left there. I want to make sure I capture the rest of that. I already have a bag going of dill seed, so we'll just end up adding to that bag. And then I have a bunch of craziness down here. I'll show you the paper bag in a minute. But this is the seed from cilantro, so that's coriander. So I'm going to be harvesting as best I can all of the coriander seed today. So let's get started. Let's start with the tomatoes first. So the tomatoes will go in a little dish like this with a little bit of water, and we'll get the seeds and the pulp and the inside gel in there. And then we'll give it 2 to 3 days to ferment. And the seeds that are viable will end up at the bottom. The seeds that are not viable and any kind of skim and icky stuff will be on the top. So we'll skim out the top and then save the seeds. So let's get these going. I'm going to bring you down so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, let's see what we can do here. All right, so these are tiny little seeds. So let's get them I'm just gonna squish them out. Now, these are such good tomatoes that I'm gonna eat what's left when I'm done squishing out the seeds. Okay, that one's done. Okay, let's do the black strawberry next. Ooh, let's find some seeds in there. There we go. And again, I'm just gonna squeeze that right into there. Put the tomato right by the jar so we know what it is. I'm gonna get these labeled. I'm just gonna put like a little paper towel on top, put a rubber band around it, or maybe even a coffee filter, just to keep any kind of fruit flies or anything out of here, but still let the air get in. Okay, that's plenty of that one. Now we're gonna do the Sunrise Bumblebee. Oh my goodness, all right. See how beautiful that is on the inside? There were a bunch of seeds in there. I may only need to do one. Okay, sunrise bumblebee. Now, let's see what we think of these tomatillos. These are way overripe, the last few on the plants. Really, I have to tell you, I was not terribly impressed with these. I grew 3 of them. So you have to have 2 for a tomatillo because they have to pollinate each other. So I had 3 in very close proximity. 1 produced fruit. 1 got crazy big but produced nothing but flowers. And the other one just kind of withered away. I'm going to put this whole piece in here. That whole little piece in there. And let's do this other small one as well. Oh look, the seeds are already falling off. Have you had better luck with tomatillos than I have? I don't know. This was my first year growing these Queen of Melanalco, and they're supposed to be so good. And I'm sure they are. I have a bunch in the freezer that we're going to turn into tomatillo salsa one of these days soon. Okay, there's another little batch there. So we'll leave that there so I know what it is. All right, let's do the cucumber. I have a big jar for this one and a spoon to scrape out the seeds. See how big those seeds are in there? In there. Now let's get the big ones in this one. Okay, I think that's plenty actually. The way I'm feeling about cucumbers these days, after all the cucumbers I've had, I do not need as many as I planted this year. And I only planted 3 plants, but my goodness, they have been prolific. This is the Boston pickling cucumber, also an heirloom. So I should get exactly the same thing. Oh, look, I got seeds everywhere. All right, so I'll put a little paper towel or something around those. And probably 1 day on the cucumbers, 2 or 3 days on the tomatoes, and we'll be good. Now, I'm gonna get this out of the way so I can show you the crazy big bag of coriander seed. Okay, let's take care of this dill seed first. So I'm just basically gonna kind of rub it off. I've got that pretty clean. I like to use the big flower heads in my pickling, so I didn't have a whole lot to leave out in the garden to dry. Question is, will I use this in the kitchen or will I use it in the garden? I think what I'm gonna do is probably plant another round of dill as soon as it cools down just a little bit. So I'm not gonna bother to separate the little sticks and things. I'll just throw this where I want it in the garden, probably in the herb bed, here in a couple of weeks. And hopefully we'll get another round of dill and I can get some more dried for my pickles next year. Okay, that one is done. Okay, so here's the coriander seed. I wanted to show you just having it in the big paper bag, it's already started to come off. So I think this is gonna be easier than I expected. I'll take a couple of branches and I'm just gonna hold them down into the bag and run my hand. See, that's, whoops. And it comes back pretty clean. So I think that that is a much easier way than just shaking the bag, because that was not much happened there. So I'm going to try one more big sprig here. Oh yes. A few that I missed. Yeah, that was a piece of cake. Okay, I'm going to finish these up and I'll be right back with you to show you everything else I've done. Okay, that was a little messy, but it was successful. I have a big bag of coriander seeds that I will throw back in the garden here shortly, and make sure that I have plenty of cilantro for some late salsa that I'll be making. So now I want to show you some things that I've been saving in the past week or so. I did some hot sauces the other day. So these are Puma pepper seeds. And these you don't need to soak, you don't need to do anything with these. Just put them out, let them dry for a while, and then we'll put them in a bag. I did some Sugar Rush peach. These are delicious. They're spicy, but they're delicious and they're very prolific. Shishito peppers. Have you tried these? Just kind of blistered at a pan. You could grill them, but I think they'll fall through the grates, but they're just great blistered in a pan. I have my very favorite Minnesota midget. These have already been fermented and dried. I have some hot cherry pepper seeds. So when you're going to harvest seeds, you want to make sure that the fruit you're using is perfectly ripe. So you wouldn't take like a green jalapeno and harvest those. So you would want to wait until it gets to be a deep dark red. And you also want to make sure when you're saving seeds, if you want to get the exact same product the following year, it needs to be an open pollinated or an heirloom seed. So not all of mine are. My jalapenos this year are hybrids, so I'm not going to bother to save any of those seeds, but I do have some left over, so I'll use those for next year. So I'm just really going for the ones that are heirlooms. So this is the Chinese 5-color. These have been a lot of fun. It's a beautiful plant with all kinds of different colored peppers. This is the Jimmy Nardello. It is a long red roasting pepper, and it's been delicious. So I saved some of those early on, and they are already dried and sealed up in a plastic bag. So that's it. So I'm gonna let these in the jars ferment for 1 to 3 days. I'll get rid of the scum and the non-viable seeds at the top, and then I will rinse off the seeds that are on the bottom, and then I will lay them out, probably not on a paper towel like these, since they'll be wet. I'll put them on a like a paper plate or maybe a piece of parchment paper, and I'm gonna let them dry completely. So probably 3 or 4 days. You don't want to seal them up too soon or you'll end up with moldy seeds. So that's it. So you know what, in the case of seed saving, every little bit does count. So I have almost all my peppers done. I have some of my favorite tomatoes saved. I have a very prolific cucumber saved. I have these crazy little tomatillos, should I decide to do them again. So I'm great. I need to get some Roma tomatoes saved. I definitely need to do that. I don't have any that are ripe enough at the moment, but I will be taking care of that. I have sugar baby watermelon that's just about ready, and I will definitely be saving some of those seeds. So tell me what you're saving. Do you have all of your seeds for next year? Are you worried that we're not going to have all the seeds that we want to have? I don't know. I mean, it seems odd to me that they would already be saying that we don't have the seeds, because I would think that seeds that you sell are going to be grown in a controlled environment. So maybe the weather wouldn't be a big deal, but I could be totally wrong on that. So I'm saving my seeds just in case. You never know. If I don't need them, someone else will need them. So anyway, I hope you have a great day. I hope that you'll take the time to hit the like button. I hope you'll take the time to share my video. Please subscribe. I'd love to see you back, and I appreciate you being here with me today. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.